Okay, what's going on, guys? Um, I am one day out from North Americans. So, as you're watching this, obviously the show's over with by now, but um, no one knew that I was doing this competition. And there's a few reasons for that, which I'll go over after I get done eating. But this is one day out. I compete tomorrow in the classic division, 35 and 40-year-old class. So this is meal one. This is my carb up day, carb loading, whatever you want to call it. So I'm just going to kind of go over what meal one is right now. I'm pretty happy with my conditioning, where I'm at. Woke up crazy dry this morning. Moderately low carbs yesterday. Today we'll push 50 to 60, maybe 75 grams of carbs per meal, just kind of depending on how things go. So my meal one here is my, if you follow me, you know I love my pancakes, so it's just egg whites and quinoa with some cinnamon in my pancakes. That's what they're made out of. And then a bowl of oatmeal and a rice cake. So you're looking at 30 grams of protein and around 55-60 grams of carbs here. I'll put a little bit of peanut butter on there for about 5 grams of fat. I have my typical green shake here, my tub full of pills, sea salt. I'll do this at a few meals, vitamin D, all that good stuff. So I'm gonna get this in me. I'm gonna plan on doing around 6 meals today, and then I'll go over, everything that kind of brought me to this point, while I'm doing the show, what happened at Masters, and all in between. Okay, so I just pretty much demolished my meal. Like I said, this was meal one. Obviously on loading days, keeping protein minimal, because obviously it's not, at this point, there's no training, you're not going to lose any muscle tissue. Your main focus is filling your glycogen store. So my protein in pretty much every meal, except for my last one, is going to be around 25 grams of protein a meal, give or take. And like I said, shooting for around 50, 60 grams of carbs, maybe more, maybe less. It'll be assessed as I see how I look, how I'm feeling out. I really liked the way I looked this morning and how dry I was. Obviously, muscles weren't full and I was flat just because I didn't have much food yesterday. But moving on. So everybody kind of wondered what happened with Masters Nationals, where my head's at, why am I doing this show, why I haven't told anybody. Pretty much at Masters National, you saw my post, I wasn't happy with the package I brought at all. I was mad when I got off stage. I was mad the day of the show. And it is what it is. Tried something new. Number one, it didn't pan out, and it's part of the process. You experiment, trial and error type deals. So obviously, I don't do it with my clients. I was using myself as a guinea pig, and it just didn't work. But the bigger factor on top of that, honestly, why I didn't bring the package that I know I can bring, was I pushed too hard. It's easy for me as a coach to tell a client when to pull back, when to back off, adjust things obviously for them. But for myself, I want to go all or nothing. So, the last 6 weeks I was just pushing hard, with training, with cardio, food. It was just, and so the problem with that is, I'm sure you train intensely, push yourself. The problem with it is, if you're pushing that hard, you have to recover just as hard. If you're not, you're putting your body in such a chronic stress state that it starts fighting, and you're not going to burn off fat. You're not going to obviously bring the conditioning that you want, because your body's in the survival mode basically. So you're in a chronically stressed state and you're not recovering. So your sympathetic nervous system is just constantly turned on. You're never activating your parasympathetic nervous system as much as it needs to be. There's a difference between resting, when you're not working out, and actually doing PNS activation type stuff. So I just pushed myself kind of into the ground. and it kind of hurt my conditioning, and I was softer than I wanted to be. So as soon as I stepped off stage, the decision was made. North American Sausage was only 6 weeks later, that I wasn't going to tell anybody. I was going to put my head down, make the changes I know I can make in 6 weeks, and just go to work and no distractions. So that's a big reason I didn't put anything on social media. Just my really close friends, wife obviously knew that I was competing, and just people obviously when I get on stage, they'll know I'm competing. But I just want to do it for myself. And now I'm extremely happy with everything, my conditioning, what I look. So now for myself, regardless of where I place, I can, step away from this contest in a good place mentally, regardless of my placing. It was hard to do that at Masters, and I was not satisfied, and I can't end my contest prep or season like that, especially working so hard during the off season. So that was the point, and the changes that I made to improve, people kind of like roll their eyes and think I'm full of it. But I did the part I didn't do for Masters, and that was focus on recovery. As soon as the show was over with, I went to 3 days a week of training, 30 minutes tops. I did 3 days of yoga. I stretched. I did some very light walking strolls outside with, my wife. We just walked. And did more meditation and really just calmed my system down. Nutritionally, I did more of a cycle approach in a sense, and I was doing lots of fats through the week and protein, and then on 1 day a week I would do a really high carb refeed and I did that the first 2 weeks after the prep just to kind of reduce any inflammation that I had. After that, I brought carbs back in to probably about 150 grams daily. I kept in a weekly refeed. It's probably 500-600 grams of carbs, and those days got closer together. So I was almost refeeding every, I think every 4 days. The closer I got to the show, and body just kept responding. As far as cardio, the only thing I did twice a week was intervals, and it was basically 10 minutes maybe. I would do 10 seconds balls out on a spin bike, and then 60-second recovery, 10 seconds all out, 60, and I do that for 4 sets, and then I did that 5 seconds all out, 60-second recovery, and did that for 4 sets. Got off, walked for 10 minutes, and that was it. And I did that for the last 3 weeks. That was it, twice a week for my cardio. And then I just kept up my restorative yoga and relaxing. And every time after yoga, my digestion was phenomenal. The way my body changed, the way I looked, was night and day after every session. And I know it's for bodybuilders and us physique competitors, it's hard to get away from the gym, but it's needed. I mean, if you train hard, you need to recover just as hard. That's when you're actually progressing. That's when you're burning the fat off. It's not when you're training your ass off. So you have to realize that kind of stuff. Like I said, if you're in a chronically stressed state, cortisol levels are elevated. You're putting glucose, fatty acids into the bloodstream, like triglycerides. But then the problem is if it's there all day long, and obviously you're not active, but when you're in the gym, it's kind of just sitting in the bloodstream, and then your insulin's being secreted by your pancreas to try to bring down the elevated insulin levels. And your body's just not in a great state to burn fat. So it was very important to me just to take this approach, and it worked phenomenally. Like I said, I couldn't be happier. Now, towards the end of the last 3 weeks, training went from 3 days a week to 5, and it was auto-regulatory training, to where I had a few things that I had set, but then I would base everything on performance. So when my performance started dropping down, I would stop the exercise and move on. My strength actually went very high. I was kind of blown away and taken back by it. I mean, I was doing squats with over 300 pounds for 8 reps with 3-second negatives. Hadn't done that in 6 months. I was doing 120-pound dumbbell incline presses for 8 clean reps. I was doing, rack pulls with 400 pounds. It was just crazy to me how strong I was getting. But then I was in and out of the gym in 40 minutes. So again, it was just focusing on recovery. So that's the biggest change that I made. So at this point, I'm really looking forward to get on stage. Also, what we're going to do with this video as well, one of my clients, Tyler, he's in Classic, he's in the Open division. We're going to bring him in, and we're going to kind of go over what we're doing with him to bring him into the contest, just to kind of show a little diversity and little things that we do. Like Peak Week is nothing magical. It's making changes the least amount possible, trying to keep variables as constant as possible, and just bring the look that we want. Nothing crazy. So we'll kind of go over what we're doing with him. We'll film with him a little later today, and then we'll do probably the last meal of the night tonight. And then tomorrow, the morning of the show, we'll start bright and early at 4:30 a.m. To show, what I'll be eating at that point, as well as Tyler. And then, we'll report afterwards, after prejudging, and we'll go from there. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Okay, what's up, guys? So we're here midday. It's around 1 o'clock. So first of all, this is Tyler Moore. He's a client of mine. He's competing in the Open Classic B at North Americans this weekend. So we're going to kind of give you a little run through of what he's doing, what we're going to be doing, and the plan, so to speak. Just kind of, you can see the little nuanced differences and stuff with this, and how simple it is too at the same time, and not so freaking voodoo magic that a lot of people think you need to do during Peak Week. So we're both two meals in. We just did a very, very light 20-minute session, blood flow, whatever you want to call it, with minuscule weight, just to get some blood moving, get the blood glucose into the moving and uptake into the cell. So Tyler, he's obviously, we're both in the same class, but obviously I'm Masters, he's Open. So the thing with Tyler is he naturally has the rounder muscle bellies. Even when he's quote unquote flat, he still has that look to the muscle to where it's not depleted, so to speak. And I think a lot of guys get carried away with the fullness, and they start pushing the envelope a little bit too much, and then obviously they get on stage, they have no conditioning and just kind of big, round, and fluffy. So with him, we're going for some hard conditioning. It's just not going to take a lot to load him, because he just doesn't need a lot. So what we're going to do, what we've done so far is tentatively, he's going to shoot for around 350, maybe 400 grams of carbs a day. We'll monitor after each couple meals and see where he's at, see how his conditioning's holding up, and we'll have him back a little bit later tonight too, at the end of the night. But here's where you can compare, same weight class, same everything pretty much as far as that goes, but the difference is, he ended prep the last few days 40 grams of carbs, roughly like that, just post workout. I ended at 150, 160. Both just as conditioned and depleted, or whatever you want to call it. And now him loading, he's actually loading a little more food than I am. This his response system's different. I've only been doing around 50 grams of carbs a meal. He's up to 80 basically on most meals. So there's always little differences, just because it works for someone and you got the exact same stats and whatnot, that should be applied to the next person. And this is all determined during prep, how his body's been responding to food. We've done refeeds, we've seen how he looks the next day, how much weight he's gained, how long it take return to baseline, all that good stuff. The same with myself. Yeah. So like him, every time I'd give him a refeed, not every time, but a good percentage of the time, he would drop the next day. As me, I would store and be 2 or 3 pounds heavier, and then I drop really fast about 3 days later to a new low. He was almost the opposite. He would drop the first day, and then he'd start gaining after that. So just complete different physiologies on how our systems work. So to me, it's intriguing to see that kind of stuff. I've seen it a lot. So we just kind of want to give you guys a little, detail on what's going on with that kind of stuff and how different two individuals, same weight class, same everything, is the same. Obviously, he's a lot younger than I am as well. So the game plan for the rest of the day, he's going to obviously keep eating his carbs, his meals. He's going to check in with me. He's on point right now. I'm very happy with how he looks. Just little tweaks to his posing that we've made have made a big difference. So I'm very happy there. For myself, I couldn't be happier with where my conditioning, everything's holding up. We'll continue to eat throughout the day, see where I'm holding. And the last meal tonight, I'm gonna have him cut water a little sooner than myself. And the last meals will probably be somewhat different, but that may be changed, depending on what I see. Like Tyler, what has your experience been so far during this prep? Anything different than what you experienced before? Good, bad?
I could go for days, but one thing, hands-on. The last 10 days, I've been checking in every single morning, which is huge. People don't realize that to figure out the body and what everyone's doing, that's how he can come up with the differences between us two. We're the exact same, if you will, bodies, but we're doing completely different. I don't think you'd be able to do that if you didn't have me check in as often as we did.
And things can change on the flip of a dime, just because that's the other thing. The plan I give him is tentative. Mm-hmm. It could change the next meal. I could give him a lot more. I could pull it out. I could pull carbs just as quickly. So it's always changing, which is, I think it's important for a coach to really be there, even if you're not there in person, which obviously I'm not with all my clients. Still texting, getting pictures, getting feedback constantly, and not just seeing where the weight is, see what they look like, how they feel. Him too. I had a tentative plan with foods, and then he let me know that like bagels doesn't sit too well with him. He can handle a little bit, but not much. So okay, we kind of went back and forth. He told me what does well and sits well in his stomach. So guess what? We tweaked. I'm keeping his macros pretty much the same in that meal, but we tweaked it because it's pointless to push those foods if they're just going to be sitting in the gut and not assimilating and breaking down. I don't want him any digestive stress. We want him on stage with his gut feeling pretty much empty, so he can control it. And that's the plan, is to not have to do anything crazy the morning of the show. Just some, calorically dense food, but lower volume in food. That's the whole point, like with the bagels and stuff. I'm doing that. Lots of sodium, good amount of carbs, but it's a very small amount of food. I don't want him eating a shit ton because it just doesn't sit well with a lot of people. So, keeping with the same foods you've had pretty much all prep. Don't be throwing any foreign foods in there. The burger and fry shit that everybody wants to do the night of or the morning of. If you've had that food here and there and it does work, that's fine. I'm not saying you can't do that, because I've done that. I've had clients do that, but it's not. That's just like I think Matt Porter did a video on it. It's just a thing that's gotten in the industry. You got to do burger and fry after prejudging. No, you don't. If you're on point and you're fighting for a top spot, if you're in that top 5 or the first call outs, stick to the game plan. Clean foods if needed. If you need a burger or fry or whatever, that's fine too. But don't just do it just to do it. So if they're not in top call outs and the first call outs, we'll be a little more easy. I don't want them going out and binging by any means. But then if they want a steak and fries or something after prejudging, have at it. That's fine. We still want to control things to an extent. Don't go, book ass crazy with stuff. So that's my take on all that. But Tyler will be back later. We'll have some interesting things to show you, how we're going to end the night, have some good times. But until then, guys, hope you getting a lot out of this. As always, leave comments below, and we'll see you a bit later tonight. Okay, guys, so it's getting late here in Pittsburgh. What time is it? It's 10:30. So we're going into the end of the night. Loading, for the most part, is done. For Tyler, we pushed. How much did we push today?
About 400.
about
Right,
almost
right
400 grams of carbs today. He's exactly where I want him right now. I made a post about this earlier about people chasing fullness and going crazy. So I kind of thinking that we're topping off his tank around 3/4 full. Want to maintain that, and now it's just getting him drier, crisper overnight. His last meal is just going to be protein and fats. He's going to do 8 to 10 ounces.
10 ounces.
10 ounces of some ground beef, a couple tablespoons of almond butter, and that's it. Actually that tastes really good. I love it. I'm not having it, but I mean, you mix that stuff together, peanut butter burgers. But he's going to have that for his last meal tonight, and I'm actually going to have him eat a little bit through the night if he gets up. So some rice cakes, maybe just a very little bit of jam and peanut butter on there, very light. So if he gets up to use the restroom, if he's been excreting pretty well and flushing this evening, so he may or may not. I mean, honestly, I'd rather him sleep. But if he gets up, I want him to eat. So a couple of rice cakes, go back to bed. If he gets up again, a couple of rice cakes. We're gonna start early in the morning with food. So I want him eating his first meal at 4:30, by 4:30, because he's gonna be on stage around 8:30 at the latest. So what we're going to do for breakfast is probably, depending on what he looks like, he's going to be over around 4. Tentatively, it's going to be a decently calorically dense meal, but not a lot of volume, just to kind of maintain his look. So we're going to have a mixture of protein, very little protein, but carbs and fats, whole eggs, bagel, hash browns, just like I said, to maintain. That's his main meal tomorrow at 4:30. Then a couple hours later, we'll go back to more just basic foods with a little bit of fats in there. So again, carbs, mixture of carbs, fats, and then that's it. 90 minutes, 2 hours before stage time. That's his last meal. We want his stomach nice and settled, empty, and then if needed for some reason, if prejudging is extended or going long, I'll have him have some stuff to snack on. Could be anything from like salty trail mix, Chex mix, stuff like that. Just has a pretty good amount of sodium in it, but it's very light on him, and it's not like he's gonna eat the whole bag at once. It's just snacking, every 15 minutes, just to keep him full. But I don't want him at 30 minutes out at least no food. That's it. People going on stage with these distended guts and crackers are pounding shit backstage and thinking all of a sudden it's going to be pulled in that quickly. They're fooling themselves. You should already be ready at that point. Okay, doing these last minute things just makes you look worse on stage, and then you can't control your gut. So that's the plan. Water's been cut at this point, so it's about 9:30 or something like that. So a little bit less than 12 hours before he's on stage. And then everything, like I said, at this point is kind of tentative. So we may add more, may take away more. Who knows? How you feeling overall at this point?
Good. Nailed, like you said, not too full, but the stomach is tight.
Yeah.
That's the biggest one. I've done this before, and like we've talked about, I think last one I did 700-800 carbs for my last load, and my stomach wasn't there, washed out, if you will.
You feel digestion good, all that stuff on point?
Completely.
Good. Like we talked about earlier, guys, digestion's huge. If you're not breaking that food down and assimilating it, you're screwing yourself. So that's it for him. I want him to get back to his room and eat up, go to bed, drink a little bit of wine if he wants, and the whole point of that is just to help him relax a little bit. And obviously the alcohol in it's going to dry him out even more. And that's not a must by any means. If you don't like it, you don't have to have it. But that's it for him. Then we'll catch back up with you with him likely after prejudging. We may film in the morning, but we'll see. I'll film in the morning for sure. But that's it for Tyler, and then we'll go from there. Okay, guys. Good morning. It's freaking early. It's like 4:30. Tyler's already come over. He's exactly where I want him. Holding weight right at 190. Was dry as a bone this morning. So we're basically sticking to the plan I had written out for him before. So he's having a couple servings of hash browns, a couple bagels, toasted bagels, and a couple whole eggs. And then he'll eat another smaller meal after that, just some rice, some turkey, and another half bagel. And that's pretty much all he's going to have until showtime. Maybe snack on a little bit of something if needed, but he's good to go. So I was happy this morning. Myself, I'm good. My weight held, which is good because my problem, I start drying out. I sometimes drop too much when I cut water. So my last meal of the night last night was 10 ounces of grass-fed beef, 3 whole eggs, 2 pieces of toast with a light coating of grass-fed butter on there, and a little, 6-ounce glass of wine, just to help, me relax last night and dry me out a little more. Got that in about 11, and then through the night, because I was going out, I get up multiple times to use the bathroom. I laid out 6 rice cakes with a little, very light coat of jam and peanut butter, like very extremely light. So every time I got up, which ended up being twice, I ate 3 rice cakes. So I've been waking up the last 2 mornings pretty light at 191. So I just got on the scale, and my weight is holding at 192, which is good. So I can keep my food just moderate at this point, because I don't like pounding back food to have to feel out anymore. So I'm going for my really dry, crisp look with a somewhat fullness. So my meal this morning, this will be the most calorically dense meal that I'm going to have, and I'll have it in like 15 minutes. So I'm going to do 2 toasted bagels. Bagels just sit very easily on my stomach, high in sodium, a good amount of carbs, obviously. So it's about 100 grams of carbs and about 100 and 1,000 milligrams of sodium in these 2 bagels. I'll do 2 whole eggs, and I'll actually put those on the bagel, and then a couple slices of turkey bacon. Again, going for the sodium content, so there's another 400 milligrams of sodium in this. So I'll basically make a bagel sandwich, my eggs and stuff on the bagel, and that'll be my breakfast. And then I'll probably look for my next meal to be some Applegate Farms turkey, just about 2 or 3 ounces, good amount of sodium, probably half a cup of rice to a cup, and then depending on what I look like, where my weight is, and then either a half a bagel or a few rice cakes to go with that. And that's it for me. And then if needed, depending on if prejudging still is prolonged, because I'm like the 4th or 5th division to go on, I'll have some food to snack on if absolutely needed. Also, another little trick I like is getting, obviously foods have been cut, so between meals I'll drink coffee, but I want a good, for bowel movement, is this coffee concentrate. So you're looking at 1 ounce has about 80 milligrams of caffeine, and this stuff is stronger than an espresso shot. So it's potent stuff. So obviously minimize fluids. 3 ounces of this between meals to get things moving along this morning. Plus it'll wake your ass up with the amount of caffeine in it. So I'll do this about an hour after this meal, hopefully get things moving, clean out the gut, stomach. And then that's pretty much it, guys. So hopefully things will go well this morning. I just feel it's out of my hands at this point. I'm happy with the package that I brought. So mentally I'm in a good place wherever I place on stage. So I'm not worried about that, but we'll go over everything after prejudging.
I'm so proud of him. It took 23 years. He started at 17. Trying to hold it together here, people, till he comes out. But yeah, I'm so excited. He deserves it. He eats, sleeps, and breathes this lifestyle, and so we'll go about our lives just the same as we always have, but this is really special.
They're lining up. Hey, it should go by fast. Usually, I think they're not going to do pose. They usually like introduce everybody. You get your front pose, bring the top 5 people on. It'll fly by.
Okay, guys. So it's the end of a long day, long week in a sense. Um, so I'm going to kind of backtrack a little bit. I was just right now it's after the competition and everything. So where I left off last was this morning. I was showing you what I was having on my basically first meal of the day, if you kind of say that. Spoke about Tyler and what he was having, what we were putting on him, and we stuck his plan out, worked to the T. For myself, like I said earlier, I ate my last meal technically at 11 p.m. I had 10 ounces of beef and what else I had? 3 whole eggs, or two or 3 whole eggs. I don't remember off the top of my head. And 2 pieces of toast with grass-fed butter. And then I set up 6 rice cakes with light jam and peanut butter. So every time I got up to use the restroom, I'd pound down, 3 cakes. So I went to bed at 11, woke up at 2, ate 3 rice cakes, went back to bed, woke up another hour later, ate 3 more rice cakes, and then an hour and a half later it was time to get up. It was 4 o'clock. Tyler came over, assessed him and, told him what to do. And then for breakfast, you saw what I had. I had 2 bagel sandwiches with a whole egg on each and some turkey bacon. Point being for all the sodium, obviously a mix of fats and carbs to help fill me out more. And then from there, that was at 4:30 a.m. And then my next meal was at 7 a.m. I had 3 ounces of Applegate Farms turkey, just deli meat, just to have more sodium. And then I had a cup of rice. And that was pretty much it for the second meal. And then that was about 7 o'clock, and that was 2 hours roughly before my prejudging started. And from that point, I ate. That was my last full meal, because I like to have my stomach pretty empty at that point when I go on stage. So I had a bag of sea salt pita chips. I usually get from Trader Joe's every time.
It's magic.
It's tastes phenomenal, but it works really well. It's very high in sodium too, as well. And I literally snacked on that. But every hour I ate, about a fourth of the bag. Another 30 minutes went by. By the time prejudging, 30 minutes before prejudging, I'd finished the bag. Felt good. Stomach was not distended. No digestive stress. Felt empty. And then used a little different pumping mechanism, so to speak, this time. I typically would do something like coconut water mixed with sea salt, or I would do V8 or something like that, 15 minutes before. But this time I actually thought I'd use a vasodilation basically and use a pre-pump workout that had no stimulants in it. And as you saw, prep and off season too, but I used Matt Porter's Cellulol. So I put it in 2 ounces of water, shook it up, drank that, roughly 15 minutes before stage. Worked like a charm. Very easy to handle, obviously, no volume in it. So I really like that. I had Tyler do the same thing, and it worked well for him. So I'm going to kind of start applying that to other clients as well, just because I don't like clients eating too close to a show. So then prejudging went off. The 35 and up class, I knew was going to be challenging. There was, honestly don't remember how many people in that class. It was a big class, but let's just put it, the Freaks came out for that show, for that division. There were some big boys in that class. I was really surprised on the size of the guys. I mean, there's no way I could have stood with the guys in the top call-outs. No way. I would have had to have had another 15, 20 pounds of muscle on me to be standing next to them. I mean, they were that freakish. So obviously I had the 40 class. I got up there with the 40 class, and it felt really good. I got moved to the center. I was kept there the whole entire time.
and I was pretty confident in what I brought. I was very happy. If I was nitpicking, yes, there were some things. Let's see. I would say I was 90 to 95% on. Okay, I was close to exactly what I wanted. There's little things missing, but it's hard to be 100% at a show. It just is. So I'll take it. So as soon as that was done, I knew I was in the mix somewhere. With Steve, you just never know with the way he places people in lineups. So I had feelings, but obviously I stuck to the plan just in case, and I could possibly be an overall. So this was 11 o'clock. My last meal was at 7, so I needed more calories. I knew I needed to fill out, and I know my body over the years that once I cut water, I can eat pretty calorically dense foods, and it just fills me out even more. It's not like eating junk all day, but I need at least one good meal. So I talked with Nicole, and then we went to Cheesecake Factory, which is right in front of our hotel, and I stuck with a 10-ounce grilled salmon. Obviously, probably 30, 40 grams of fat in that, but it digests very well. I could have went with a burger, and it probably would have been just as fine, but I just really wanted to keep my stomach under control just in case. Not that a burger would have done it because I've eaten them before, but I just went with salmon this time. It tasted great. And then I got it with a cup of white rice, and then I got a side of sweet potato fries for a really good caloric hit and more sodium. All that set really well, felt great. From there, that was at noon. Excuse me, very long day. I had one more regular meal, and it was just 3 ounces of beef, a cup of rice, and then about 3 to 4 rice cakes with a light spread of jam and peanut butter. And pre-judgment night show was to start at 5 p.m. We got there right at 5 p.m. and I had open before me A, B, C, D class. I had the A class 35, so I thought maybe I would be on 5:45, maybe 6. Get back there at 10 after, and they started lining everybody up. It went very fast, which was good, but I was planning on eating another meal, and that just didn't happen. Not that I really needed it, but I plan to hit everything. So I got there. All I could do was I ate a bag of Chex Mix just to get some calories in me. Set really well. I did the pre-pump again with Celluval. Got up there in the 40 class. Did my posing, got off, and then they called us out, and lo and behold, I won my class. So that's when things started kind of getting real in a sense. It didn't really kind of hit me still. I'm still my retarded professional self up on stage. Obviously I was all about it, but I won my class. Took it and then got off the stage, did the overall, and we knew it would win the overall. The guy that had won two other overalls in the 35 class open, he was just sweeping everybody. So we knew he was going to take it, which is fine. It was fun battling out there with him. So then we get back and then pack up backstage, and then met up with Nicole, my friend, who's videographing us, Gustavo, who's been along with a lot of this journey for a while as well. You guys, obviously, he does all my stuff. And then emotions kind of let loose there. There's still stuff that's sinking in, and it was kind of surreal in the moment when, excuse me. When I saw my wife and just 2 decades of doing this, and it's not like it was a struggle for 2 decades by any means, because everybody knows I love doing this stuff, and I would have stopped a long time ago if I didn't enjoy it. If you don't have a passion for doing something, why the hell do it? I ain't doing it for a plastic trophy. I wasn't doing it for a pro card. That was obviously always a goal, but it was never the only reason I was doing it, or I would have stopped a long time ago. I mean, and if it wasn't for, thank you to Steve and them for bringing out the Classic division, because if it wasn't for that, I probably would never have gotten the status that I've been working toward. Just because, number one, I don't have that genetic makeup to be a pro bodybuilder. Love bodybuilding, until the day I died, but it wasn't in my genetic makeup, and I wasn't willing to push that to that level to even attempt it, to just risk my health or anything, So, 2 years ago when they brought Classic, that was, just like another fire lit and something I actually could achieve something in, because it fit me much, much better, just my build and stuff. And I mean, it's still hard to make that weight, but it was more catered to who I am, the look that I want and want to maintain, my health. So, thanks to Steve and them for bringing that out, or Jim Mannion and all them, because if it wasn't for them, then I wouldn't have got this either. So, I mean, there's a lot of people to thank, obviously, people that's been through this journey that I've been on, and my best friend Adam Stotts, who unfortunately isn't here, for 15 years, 16 years, he was at every show, and then obviously life happens. He's a lawyer and all this stuff, and that's fine, no big deal. But it's just all come to a head. I'm sure, like I said, more emotions and all that will hit me as the days pass, and it starts sinking in more and more, and thoughts and whatever hit you, it's something I'm still going to pursue. Obviously, I'm not going to earn a pro card and not step on a pro stage. I think that's ridiculous. I don't even care if it's just one time. I earned this. I'm going to get on a pro level stage and just do it. If it's once, it's once, whatever. But I will step on the stage. But I can unequivocally say with a 100% certainty that I will not step on stage in 2018. The awesome part about turning pro now in this division is I get 10 more pounds to work with. So not only does that make it so much easier for me to do this class, I can actually improve a little bit, because the last 2 years, I couldn't really gain muscle. I couldn't do anything because it's so hard for me to make this weight. So I'm excited about that. That honestly lights a real passion under me for this full year off, because I can, attempt to. I'm 40 years old. Obviously, I can only gain so much at this point, but I can improve, and I don't have to watch that now. When I ended my career in bodybuilding, I was competing constantly at 202 pounds, 203 pounds, stage ready with more muscle, obviously, than I do now. So it's like a kid in a candy store again, with stuff, training, nutrition. I'm always like that anyways, but it's like it's starting all over again, in a sense, now that I'm that I'm a pro, obviously. So I'm excited about it. But I'm excited for business stuff that we have going on. I'm taking the year off from, doing competition, but it does, take away from things. Thanks to my wife for being so supportive of all this stuff, because they're obviously selfish to an extent. Stuff I can't do, stuff obviously I won't do, because I'm not going to do something if I can't do it for 100%. I think it's stupid. It's a competition. You train to win. You can't control if you win, but people who say the absolute zero only reason that they do it is to just improve themselves. I'm sorry, it is a competition, so you train to win, period. If you're not trying to win, what the hell are you doing it for? That's just stupid to me. You may never win, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with not winning, but you train to, okay? It is what it is. You just can't help the genetics that you were given. So I don't want to rant on that. Yeah, I'm not stepping on the stage in 2018. It's not happening, so no need for anybody to ask me. So, and will I step on stage 2019? Huge percentage, yes, for sure. I doubt I'll go longer than that, just because I'm getting up there in age too, so I don't want to be pushing that too long. When and where, I have no clue. we'll see what happens. But I'm excited for this off season. Business stuff, our travel we have set up. I mean, now 2 weeks from now, lots more travel in a good way, more education, going to Austin for workshops, and then we go from there straight to Vegas for our typical kind of getaway for 10 days for our birthdays, relax. We got some more shows to go to. I got football games to go to. Christmas is coming up. More education next year. More travel already planned next year. I mean, the Arnold's already planned out. But I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that we already have on our plate.
5-year anniversary.
Yeah, 5-year anniversary, and I'm not competing, so we can actually set a date for that and do something on our actual anniversary. So that's cool. Yeah, lots of things ahead. Our Muscle Bank website, we have. It's becoming better. We're revamping everything. So I'm also going to start doing more smaller workshops in a couple weeks, or not a couple weeks, in a month or so. In October, middle October, I'm going to do a nutrition workshop seminar on how to approach coming out of a contest prep, fat loss phase, whatever you want to call it. With training, nutrition strategies, mental strategies. So I want to start doing some more workshops around home, seminars to help educate people. We're going to do a posing clinic there too as well. So yeah, just business stuff, trying to grow, expand, help people, educate, all that good stuff. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And then obviously, after the show is over, you know me, we went and ate sushi, of course.
What else?
Good. I don't know how many rolls of sushi. Went and had some froyo. Went and had a cookie. I'm good. A Starbucks cookie. I'm good now. I'm content. I'm going to get up in the morning, fast a little bit, go watch some men's bodybuilding and North Americans. I'm looking forward to relaxing. I got a football. My Florida State Seminoles are playing tomorrow. Relax. So a good weekend ahead. We're here in Pittsburgh for the rest of the weekend. And then back to life in Kentucky until we travel again. So it's been a great week. And the awesome thing is we've been able to document it. I hope you guys got a lot out of this and just following, Tyler, myself, prepping for this. And obviously, like I said, nobody knew I was doing this competition except for a few close friends. And I'm glad. I mean, I was able to really focus, and I drastically improved from Masters National. It was night and day. So overall, it was good. You want to add anything?
I think you cover everything.
I know I can talk, and I still have my Starbucks.
I'll just add that I'm super proud of you.
Thank you. But more stuff to follow. Obviously, I'm going to keep doing recording stuff and Muscle Bank and videos and just our regular YouTube channel as well. I think that's about it. I mean, just thanking everybody for being here, and getting Gustavo, who's behind the camera right now, who truck up here and helping me out as he always does. So it's been a great weekend. Obviously, everything's come to a head in a good way. Couldn't ask for a better situation, and how it ended, and a new beginning. Obviously, some fun things ahead. That's for sure. Some training, you know how I am, nutrition, all that good stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed this nice little journaling of turning pro. Didn't really expect it, but we will take it. Any questions, or obviously message me, comments, whatever. Our website is MaximumPerformanceTraining.net. Our membership site is MuscleBank.com. You can follow me, Nicole. The links will be on the YouTube channel at Alan Kress, at Nicole Kress. You have our Facebook, all the typical social media stuff that's out there. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. See you soon.
He's like, how do you wrap up? How do you wrap up? How do you wrap up?
I don't know. I just ramble.
That's totally going on the end of the video.